kid spirals from personal growth into amputee assassins, backyard nostalgia, horny internet rituals, and a full-blown rant about baseball turning into a fashion show on this episode of The Goin Deep Show for Thursday, April 23rd, 2026.
Static on the line, someone laughing through the noise. Says they clean their life up, still addicted to the void. Half a cup of something, half a truth to sell. Sober just enough to realize it's hell. There's a man with no hands on a headline feed, still throwing something harder than me. Everybody claps, nobody asked why. Just another weird thing passing by. I should care more, I should grow up, but the room keeps spinning when I stand up. I got older, but nothing got clearer. Same dumb world's closer in the mirror. Tried to grow up, but it won't let me be. So I laugh and let the chaos follow me. Soft skin, bad thoughts, dopamine dreams. Everything louder than it should be. Try to stay clean, but it won't let me be. So I laugh and let the chaos follow me. Backyard ghosts and plastic bats and dirt. Now they're getting paid for the same dumb hurt. We were kings once, VHS proof. Now it's highlight reels and monetized. You fast sabotage love like it's part of the game. Light the fuse just to watch the flame. She gets close, I disappear. Blame it on time and blame it on fear. I should slow down, I should behave, but I still want everything I shouldn't save. I got older, but nothing got clearer. Same wrong world is closer in the mirror. Tried to grow up, but it won't let me be. So I laugh and let the chaos follow me. Soft skin, bad thoughts, dopamine dreams. Everything louder than it should be. Try to stay clean, but it won't let me be. So I laugh and let the chaos follow me. Sunlight through the wrong place. Somebody calling it healing. Everybody selling something. Nobody knows what they're feeling. New uniform, same old game. Different colors, same last name. Dress it up, make it shine. Still just killing time. Don't think too much, don't look too long. Don't ask why it feels so wrong. Don't fall in love, don't make a scene. Just keep it somewhere in between. I got old, but nothing got clearer. Same dumb world, just closer in the mirror. Tried to grow up, but it won't let me be. So I laugh and let the chaos follow me. Velvet lies and gasoline, living somewhere in between. Tried to wake up, but it won't let me be. So I laugh and let the chaos follow me. Yeah, just go to bed.
All right, rock and roll. Oochie-coo. Look at there.
Man, the cornhole killer's face is rough looking, man.
Okay, so
Yeah, you have
Erasure sends me that. Erasure sends me this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pissed on him. Not really pissed. I use the verbiage of being mad all the time. I'm pissed about this, or I'm angry about that, and I rant about this or about that. But for the most part, and again, I have to put a little asterisk by this all the time. Since I stopped drinking, I'm way less pissed. Have you noticed my whole demeanor?
Yeah, you're completely chill.
Who else was saying that the other day? Head of HHM, same thing. He goes, yeah, man. He goes, you've been just a whole different thing. I can actually tolerate my parents. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I say that I love them very much. They're great, but
you do find that there is a difference when not having things clouded, I guess is the best way to put it. And your body is firing on better receptors when it comes to reacting and handling events and things like that. Things are a lot less annoying.
I'm afraid, though, to go back and hear the shows when I was acting like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
You're still a fucking idiot. But I am.
I am. That is so true. I wish you were not speaking the truth. I'm just less of an idiot, and I'm more calm about it.
Right. These don't get to you, or the reaction is, which is always kind of the interesting thing, that things then really have to push your buttons to get a rise out of you when you're like this. And people don't realize, because before it was easy for them to blame something else and make it seem like it's you, instead of them looking at themselves, realizing that they're the problem to begin with, because they don't want to face that fact. We all are that way in some degree.
Yeah.
It's easier to say, well, this person's over here because they've been drinking and this and that, or they've been.
It's a crutch.
It's a
crutch. And people use it as an escape. Now, don't get me wrong. It probably does help some people to like either loosen up or to deal with some traumas. I get that for sure. But I think I have another theory on this. And this is a theory that I've created just this second. All right, I'm doing this. I've been doing this a lot lately. Epiphany. The same way that guys look at women that don't have kids, or the way that, I guess that's not a good way to say it. I really need to test my focus right now. But there's a way that you think about your youth, and not necessarily being nostalgic about it, but wanting to hold on to it as long as you can.
Always.
And I think that's why guys tend to want to
go young.
We go younger with the girls, where girls are way more prone to going up. Girls will go up.
That's security. Daddy
shows us stuff that. So it works in society. If we let it work in society, of course, it becomes a point where it's like, that's a little weird. You're double the age, plus 7 or minus 7 or whatever the mathematical equation is. So I think when it comes to the drinking and life in general, as you age, you reminisce and long for the days of when you were doing those things, the college days, all of that fun. And I held on to it until I was 50 easily. My birthday last year, I got fired. Destroyed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then
I didn't buy you a shot or something that night or a day.
Then I got to the point where it was like, okay, I'm in this kind of full relationship almost, where it's like, is it real? Is it not real? Is it going on? Is it not going on? And I fought it because I wanted to stay single. Then I was by myself for a little while, and I was like, I don't like this. This isn't as good as when I'm hanging out with her. And then I was like, okay, boom, you're doing it. You gotta grow up at some point.
And then you tried to live vicariously through the rest of us. Hey, I can't fuck around. I can't fuck around. I'm going to put you in a spot.
Well, it hasn't Hat Trick been our savior?
Yeah, she has.
She has totally been our savior.
Well, if you notice, she was blushing the other day in the studio as she's talking.
She was quiet.
Yeah, I think a little bit more, the settling together of those two, which is great for them. So don't worry, listeners, there'll still be stories.
Oh, she's never one to hesitate on the storytelling. But when she gets to the point where how's it going? She just plays it real calm and collective. Doesn't. I think maybe at some point we're going to have to ask her about this. I think the guy is seeking out this podcast that she's on. At some point he's going to discover.
Oh yeah. If he hasn't already.
Yeah.
Or maybe he knew before.
So with that in mind, how does this apply to the cornhole killer?
Yeah. The quadruple amputee, which for those of you that haven't seen this article, got to be wondering, how can somebody be a quadruple amputee and still do this?
Now, the other thing, he has got that 3-person name, like the famous. The famous bowlers always have 3-person names. Famous serial killers always have the 3-person name. What is the name? Tell us.
It's Dayton James Weber. So DJW. A professional cornhole player and quadruple amputee, was charged with murder and related offenses after allegedly, you ready for this, people, shooting and killing Bradwick Wells during an argument. Witnesses identified Weber as the shooter as he was later located in Virginia. Weber is awaiting extradition to Maryland to face charges.
Okay, so when you see this photo of this guy,
he looks like the comedian, man.
like Brewer and Oswald a little.
Oh, yeah, a little bit like that. I can see that with the nose, yeah. The perm hair on the top of his head.
I can't tell if it's a guy or a girl. It appears it could be a girl.
Oh, it looks like there's an Adam's apple there, but if that means anything.
Now, if the reporter did any of their research, I have to trust that they didn't check to see if it's a trans.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, the tons of questions. How does a quadruple amputee friggin' murder somebody?
Yeah. Well, and play cornhole too.
I mean, what are they doing? Do they have somebody picking him up and he uses his teeth?
So is it prosthetic, the arms? I mean, or yeah, he could be whipping it through his mouth. I mean, you see these people that are challenged that shoot bows with their feet. But if you got all four things not working for you, does it tell anything more in the story of how he does any of these things?
No, I'll have to do a little bit of digging in.
Yes.
But here's the thing that it brings up so many things. The first of which is, okay, when you want to do something and you have these things keeping you from doing it, this is an example right now of, you should still try to do those things. I don't know how many times I've told myself, you can't learn to play the guitar because you have a broken index or a ring finger on your.
Yeah.
Like, really, this guy has no arms and no legs, and he's a professional cornhole player, which I think pissed me off more than anything, that there is professional cornhole.
Well, it's changed so much. I've got a buddy of mine that not only does he make the boards for it, but he's on the circuit. And 10 years ago, we were in a bar at lunchtime watching ESPN 12 or whatever it is down the line. And they were doing like cornhole on there. And we're like, how is that even possible? So, but here it is. This guy became a pro between 2021 and the 2022 season. It was a bacterial infection which caused his amputation. So amputee of all four limbs.
So he was probably pretty good before they had the slice and dice.
Yeah. So yeah. But it shows he's got the fake,
he's got the prosthetics.
Yeah. Prosthetic feet. And then there's a kind of a picture there so he's, missing his hands.
So he's very much like, the He-Man character, Triclops.
Yeah.
Or no. Which one was it? Trapjaw. Trapjaw was the one that you could put the different.
So here's the difference for you folks. So he's not like wheelchair bound. He's got the,
he's handy capable.
He's got the legs, that he looks very short, but they're like where the runner, the blades, so he can get around his legs.
I was fans with those blades on, wasn't it? That killer, amputee Olympic guy. What was his name? That killed his girlfriend through the door or whatever.
Yep. So maybe he's trying to prove something that, don't let it hold you back if you want to kill somebody.
So with this in mind, with all these professional sports being a thing, last night I go to Kroger here in town, and I bump into a friend of mine who I used to work with, who I went to school with, him and his brother, and his son is getting paid to play wiffle ball.
Oh, shit.
This is professional wiffle ball. Now, I don't know how many times my brother's told me, you were ahead of your time, man. I'm like, it's true, dude. You could see the writing on the wall. Wiffle ball is such a fun game. It has such it hits on every baseball fan has played in backyard baseball and wiffle ball and stuff like that.
We do in my neighborhood.
Yeah, we did too. And my mom and dad are moving out of their house right now. My brother and I think one of these days I want to just take him there. I think the 20th, maybe the last day that they're at that house. And I want to go to the backyard and, hey, let me throw let's hit one more wiffle ball in the backyard. You know what I mean? And let's get a capture of it as we can. So I'm going to suggest we do that. But we used to have this stairs, kind of concrete steps in the front yard leading up to this metal door. You remember those metal doors that were the storm doors? It had the movable bottom half of it and made this. It was really solid aluminum, just made a really big heavy noise. We used to take tennis balls and throw against this stairway, but we would miss sometimes and just clang and hit off this. And my parents would get so pissed off at us all the time about hitting that door. But
I mean, I think everybody's thrown towards the back of their garage or used that as a backstop. Or
it's correct.
In our neighborhood, it was, we were lucky. To the left of my house, there was a vacant lot that went from our front of our street, the block, all the way to the back of the block. And so that place became our football field, our wiffleball field, our tag field. Everything was kind of gone on. There was a tree kind of off to the side in the middle of it that we'd, lay underneath, look at the stars, talk about things when you're that 12, 13 years old, just before everything kind of takes over.
So what this made me think about, I've had a wiffle field in the backyard. It's kind of overgrown, hasn't been kept in probably at least 6 to 8 years now. It's been a while. But I had a conversation with a friend of mine who helped me actually build the original field about getting it back in shape. And last night, when I was talking to him, the enthusiasm level of him when he recognized me and realized we were talking was like very infectious. Like, hey man, oh my God, I talk about you and your field all the time to my kid. So I struggle when it comes to seeing my mom and dad move. Part of me is like, okay, all right, it wasn't so bad. I thought they'd have a little bit harder time with the move. Me, the only attachments I have to my house are really the field and the studio. It says studio, but I love my yard. I love my yard so much. It's so big and there's a lot there and there's a lot of potential. But I maintain an artist's, a starving artist salary, so I don't have a lot of extra to put towards things. But yeah. So back to what we were saying about nostalgia and about trying to hold on to our youth. When I hear that there's kids getting paid thousands of dollars to play.
That's my next question is, what is it?
He said it was for one trip to Atlanta. They pay for airfare, accommodations, all this stuff, and they give him $7,000.
That's not bad
to play.
I mean,
so he's a college kid out in Mount Pleasant. So, but I mean, shit, yeah, dude, I would. You know how much we spent on wiffle ball? Going to tournaments, hoping to win like $1,000 in a huge tournament in St. Louis. We went to these big national tournaments and try to win money.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, back when. That's the thing. It must feel like having him describe that to me must be what an MLB player from the 60s, 70s, and early 80s must have felt like compared to now. To look at, holy crap, the average salaries of these guys now, I think it's ridiculous.
Well, there's that Montero that just got called up from the Tigers and that because Verlander had the hip issue where he wasn't able to start last Sunday. And they were talking about that. There's also a guy on the Marlins, Miami.
Marlins,
yeah, Marlins, that is a Detroit native, and that he's supposed to have like 500 seats of his, family, people he knows in the community.
Oh, show up for the game?
For the game today.
100?
Yeah, they were talking about it last night on the deal, which they won, which was better than they did against the Twins.
Finally.
Or they'll spend.
And like that.
But, that pitching was pretty good by the Tigers. Your favorite Meadows is already out.
Dude, that collision the other night was insane. But the feeling of hearing about the pro wiffle ball must be what those older players who barely made it by, who had to get summer jobs, must feel when they see the new crop of. There's a tinge. I would say I would be lying to you if there's not a little tinge of jealousy or envy that this didn't happen 25 to years earlier when I was in my early to mid 20s. Oh my gosh, it would have been great. But the thing is, we were doing a lot of what they were doing now, like the YouTube channels and all the stuff that they have. I have VHS tapes of us, tons of our videos of our wiffle ball games from probably as early as 1999. So 26, 27 years.
Well, that was a show.
Yeah, it was.
Which I know your show has roots because of wiffle ball and the guys you played with. True. And that's why, you know, there's the 8-hole and all the different, you know.
There's a lot of baseball references. In fact, some of the guys G-Dub, one of the original guys who got on the mics, we had to convince him to come and do the show because he goes, I don't want to talk about baseball. I go, it's not baseball, man. It started off as that. We got an excuse, you know, it was our excuse and our reason to get into it. But I got to really tip my cap to the wiffle ball players from Flint that we initially started there. They were ahead. They were before podcast. We did that show, I think in 2002 and 2003. It was called MLY, the show Major League Yardball. And what's great about, the light bulb moment when I was talking to him last night was that I have wiffle.tv and wiffletv.com in Major League Yardball domains.
Nice.
I gobbled all those up back in the day. So it's like I should go and create some playlists off of YouTube of all of the wiffle ball leagues from all over the place and just throw them in there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
You know, Wiffle TV, man. You got to go Wiffle TV.
Well, and hey, before we forget, listeners, you can dial in the listener line, 989-341-3314. Has anybody actually tried calling?
Yeah, we got some. Yeah.
All right, cool. And by the way, we're recording remotely today at the Irish Lair. That's why you hear the train going around. It's nice enough outside that the windows are open, getting some fresh air in here, coffee and conversation going on. So there's been a lot this week going on. Since the last show was recorded, we got an unannounced, all of a sudden, video or interview with Melania that happened on the news.
Or was that her district press conference? Or did
it was her press conference. So we just barely touched the tip of it. And everybody's wondering why does she feel the need to come out and say this?
Because that had been right before we recorded last time.
It was. And we just barely, but it all has to do with, if you're talking about that now, you're not talking about annihilating a whole society. And all of a sudden that is less the conversation out in the news world.
Well, the thing is, you know, like we had been talking about, well, they just use us as a distraction. We were all in distraction mode, and she kicked us right back onto right back on it.
So, lesser two evils there.
Well, isn't her dad, like, she's from where over in
Russia, but Ukraine, the kind of that deal. And her parents are now part of the United States, and they were like an adjacent, became citizens because of her Einstein visa before she married Donald.
Because her dad was at the inauguration, he's, you know, all over the place. I don't know that much about her background and stuff. I just like the naked pictures.
Yeah. And that, you know, that's what's amazing is she keeps on trying to be like, oh, this didn't happen and I'm so upstanding and everything else. But yeah, Putin and his cronies have no problem putting those photos there.
They're all over the place. That's the reason that I ask about where she's from, because if
it's Slovenia,
by her leaving that area, you can tell her she's got that thick accent.
Yeah.
She can barely speak. I love when she talks about her book.
Yeah.
Her book.
It sounds like it's her boobs, but yeah, it's her book.
Oh my God, that'd be great. We slice up and so she says her boobs. My boobs. My boobs. No one has ever seen my boobs for very long. For as long as they want to look at my boobs.
Yeah. No. So it's just kind of crazy the way the world has worked this last week. The news cycle. I mean, we got a truce, but yeah, we don't have a truce because Israel just can't, you know, stop doing what they're doing. You know, and
what's gas at right now? That's how I always get.
You know, I mean, it was up to 419 that, where I was at in Holt Lake, Michigan, which is up north for those, of you that aren't familiar with Michigan. Traverse City, which is also a destination place, was over $4. But I did see a drop here in our local community, from 409 down to 397.
So how this affects people's traveling, people spending money when it goes to vacations, also the farmers and spending money
because
on gas and fertilizer and whatever he needs to do.
Which
How does anyone not tell him that, okay, this is what's going to go down? But does he, I just don't think he's there. I'm almost to the point where I feel sorry for him. Every time I see a picture of him or any that they show on TV, he looks feeble. He looks very like just look at his eyes and how old and how puffed out and how the age finally, I think for the first term, he didn't eat his first 4 years.
He's only 8 years old.
He looked about the same. But yeah, now he's hitting that, oh crap, you finally have aged. Cause what do they say that when you're a president, age is double almost during those 4 years?
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, but here's the thing too. And all the things that he's doing or having happened, are the things that the other side complained about, Biden, the exact same thing.
I put my microphone on the right way.
Yeah, it would help. I mean, that sounded all right. But no, in the whole thing, they've told them to quit bragging about the cognitive tests, because those are more given for people to make sure you can still live on your own at home, And here he's bragging about it. It's not an IQ test. It's not.
Well, it's funny the shit that they brag about compared to what they should be bragging about. I think about this up last episode. It's his cronies there bragging how he never gets any sleep. That's not good. No, I can't remember ever reading any of my health feed when I get some
hours a month.
They never say instead of going from 8 hours to 9, go from 8 hours to 6. You'll be
I run like about 6 hours. That's what
I do too. I try, but it never is.
It is one of those things. But he was looking at these executive orders that keep on happening, trying to push things through.
And so I was hanging out with my parents last night, and it's probably the first time I spent just me with the two of them in a long time. I think the last time was for a funeral. We were in a car together for a decent amount of time, but I have a vague idea that my dad may listen to the podcast.
Oh,
I mean, we've done 2,300 of these things. I've recorded over 100 of the other breakfast shows. I've recorded, a little bit of here and there from, there's well over 2,500 episodes of anything. Mm-hmm. So you're talking a shit ton of stuff. But last night before we left, he mentioned something about a podcast. He mentioned, I want to start a podcast. I'm like, when my dad wants to start a podcast, I'm like, okay, all right, what's the next thing? You've officially reached every human being. I love the fact that we were right at the start of this shit. It's nothing that pleases me more than knowing that we were right there. And, but it was interesting. I said, oh, Dad, I got a friend who was trying to start a podcast, and he struggles to get the conversations going. I think a lot of it has to do with he doesn't, I think is because he leans to the right a little bit. And these days, I think, where are all the red hats, man? Where have all the cowboys gone?
Well, and it's interesting you said that. Number one, if you need me to sit with him, I would, but I actually was at the Y this morning, and I ran into our mayor, who is now running for state representative for the 96th ward. And he's gotten some blowback, heat, controversy, because he's going against, the other guy, the Covenant, Beeson.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it's kind of like everybody's posted, like, isn't there anybody else that can run, for that 96th ward?
Wasn't the mayor's, there's some stuff with ICE when the ICE stuff was going on.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that he was okay with our police force being used as ICE or something like that? Is that what it was?
I don't know the details indirectly, but it did have to do with us being a sanctuary city and regards to it. And that's why we've had some really good turnouts for the No Kings, here. But everybody's main focus in our little hamlet is the roads suck, and we've got two bridges that you got to pay to go across.
The bridge situation, I want to have like a complete just one episode or of something that we do at the beginning of every episode. I think we tried it with the music and stuff or clips a while back with but the bridge situation is effing ridiculous.
It is. I mean, we had last week where the one bridge was down and it caused everybody to use the other pay bridge. And because there was so much traffic going over that, it shut it down because of the cameras. So I noticed you've got this man arrested after gunfire exchange.
Yeah.
Strikes home. And
we live in an area, you're a little bit further south of us, so it's not quite as rough, but where Erasure lives is kind of, I always say it's like the Bermuda Triangle between three very, very not notorious, but well-known bars in the town to have a lot of, I don't know how many times I've driven by Chet's or BMO's or 1111.
Yep. Stabbing happened there yesterday.
The four bars right there
the apocalypse
are the center of a lot of trouble. I got driven by a million times, cops there. I've been in the bar and heard the cops coming, and I get the hell out. Now again, this is probably, for the last 5-6 years, I barely even go out to eat it anywhere at the restaurants or bars now. But we live right in the center of those four things. So that you said stabbing where at 1111?
1111. It was on the scanner page. So they had to shut down the hospital, which is normal thing in that because he went.
You think retaliation.
Yeah, that's the reason why. And a lot of people are like, I didn't know they did that. And well, yeah, there's a reason for it. So
that just happened last night. Great.
Yeah.
I can throw a baseball from her house and hit 1111.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Is it in the strike zone?
It would hit the front door.
So would somebody be there contesting whether ABS,
tap their outfits on this?
Dingler's a beast on that anyway.
But this 22-year-old Saginaw man was arrested after a shooting incident, basically east side. Now this one I think was, where was this one? I can't remember. This one wasn't far from there either. It was down between where we are currently and her place, if I remember right, 2100 block or 1000 block on 21st Street.
Yep.
So where is that? Is that by Tubby's?
Yep, over by the other outlier, Tubby's. So
the thing is, I like going to Tubby's because they have really cheap burgers and fries.
Yeah, they do, especially Monday night.
And nobody's there when we get out of work and we shoot pool for cheap.
And there aren't too many places you can shoot pool around here anymore. So,
they got rid of all the shuffleboards and they got rid of all the pool tables. So, yeah, but
so one of while we're just on this subject for a while, which is going to bore everybody, don't leave us yet.
This isn't for them. This is for us to go back to remember all the shootings?
But Nino's Pizzeria is, going on the market. Bidding starts in May for about $30,000, which is an establishment.
What?
So it's going to be auctioned off the property there. So I just saw, bidding starts at May the 14th, $29,000.
Why so freaking cheap?
Because again, it's an auction.
So they left it there?
They had sold it, and then the lady that had it didn't work out. She tried to make it go through COVID and a go of it and everything else, and I think it's wound up back on the market.
It's a pretty solid building.
It's
a nice brick building.
It is. They've had some water leakage problems in the past. There is a very small kitchen, which is hard to get around but they made it work. But that's why the food would always take.
What else?
Well, no, but it's got the bar side of it. It's got the sit down, the classic sit down. Our other Italian place, Grandpa Tony's, just did a remodel. They added TV screens.
$30,000. Why doesn't Grandpa Tony's buy it?
That or Galino's, which would be awesome because it's part of.
Well, you know who's gonna get it?
Yeah, it's
Vinny. Vinny's gonna get it.
Oh, God.
It'll be another spot for him to go pick up a bunch of young broads. Yeah. That guy. That's all he does is pick up young broads.
I want to know what his secret is in the bedroom that he's still snagging these 20, 30-year-olds. Usually when they get
vibrators full of money.
When they get towards 30, he kicks them to the curb to go younger. He'll be 90 years old and still banging a 30.
This goes back to what we were saying earlier, guys. Seek out the young to kind of hold on to their youth and their energy. Cause like we said earlier too, where, your anger and your rage and your kind of misplaced, not getting pissed off about non-existent problems when you're younger. Sometimes you're like, oh man, I remember when I used to have the energy to be pissed off about that. Whatever. Yeah. Now it's all adult shit that we have to worry about and think about.
This just popped in my head, and it's something I've seen on there. There is this Piper Raquel or Rochelle that was a girl that was one of those YouTube kids, popular when her parents put her on TV right away when she was younger. She just turned 18. And you know how those things happen when a young girl hits that 18 legal, that men have been fantasizing all about.
The Olsen twins, I remember it being a big deal.
Yeah.
Caitlyn, or the Kendall Jenner, baby Louie, her, Miley Cyrus, who, by the way, Miley's pretty, she's a pretty radical chick, man. Yeah. She's pretty awesome.
But this younger,
when you see her on screen, I was at the damn Planet Fitness the other day, and there was some commercial she was in. And it was a long commercial. And I was just like, yeah, okay. All right. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. But this young lady already at 18, already's got her, paid adult site page. Has already done content with some other girl and a guy. And
you know what I hate the most about this?
Is that
a month from now, my kid turns 18.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Red Eye was still around, hanging out around in the creepiness that you throw at?
Yeah. Don't let her work in any dental hygienist office.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And he'd be like, yep.
Well, and again, this is always the one thing that
we make fun of it.
We make fun of it, but the problem with it all is, guys, we're kind of monsters. The fact that we have a president who even just will not admit that he's okay. Yeah, I'm the fucking shithead that everybody thinks I am. Own the shit, dude.
Yeah,
you're a fucking, you're a guy. I mean, we all think fucked up shit sometimes. It's okay. That's a part about being a human being is you're not perfect. We're not perfect.
And having a lustful thoughts about somebody that's over 18, that yes, most women would be like, oh my God, that's so disgusting, but we're human. Mm-hmm. And if it gives a little bit extra lead in that pencil and we give it to you a little bit harder that night because of it, it's kind of like the Al Bundy. It's kind of like Al Bundy. Hey, Peg, put on this wig.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was the best part about watching the Married with Children. It's when Al would get all riled up and he'd be like, upstairs now.
And women, that's part of being that alpha male that has been lost. And that's part of the reason why we got dipshit in the White House, is because a bunch of men felt like we were being put under the thumb.
Well, those fake feminist guys who are just like, I'm a feminist, I'm a man. No, you're not. You're desperate for pussy. That's what you're catering. You're fucking kissing the ass of this bitch so you can fuck her. That's what you're doing. It's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's a weird time. It's a weird time. And I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it's just my kid turning 18, her being an adult. And I think that was one of the things that curbed me from really, getting involved more seriously with someone 2 years ago. It was this, I'll do some self-sabotage when I know I need to do some self-sabotage when it comes to a relationship. And when you can see something getting stronger, or when you can feel yourself wanting to be around somebody more and them showing the same kind of energy, but knowing that you shouldn't do it. This girl was, I think, how old was she? She was 23 when I was 48. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh God, you would be such a fun time. And there was a lot of extra fun there. That could be there and have there. And there was some chemistry, and there were some signs of some oddities. But the overall thing was, she was only 7 years older than my youngest.
No, I mean,
she was 2 or 3 years younger than my oldest daughter.
Right.
And I'm like, this is a little too much.
Oh,
It's a little too much, I think.
when you look at that distance, when the person you might go hang out with, we'll just say it that way, is 10 to 15 years older than your kid, and you're 30 years older than they are. Yeah, that's kind of weird. In some ways. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean you can't be friends with the person.
Well, this is my,
You can't learn from them and they can't learn from you.
this is totally my fault on every relationship that I've ever been in that I've wanted to get out. I usually will do some just fucked up thing to make,
We all do.
there's no taking the Band-Aid off slowly. It's all right. This is done. How are we going to fuck this up so I can get on with life? It is. And this is probably another part of the drinking issue where I just, hey, let's do this the wrong way. Let's end this violently.
Instead of just saying, you know what, it's not working,
There's some women that I've had relationships that I'm really close friends with still.
I've got to.
And there's some F buddies from the past that are I would consider friends still, But there's a couple that are just, if you put them in a room together, they'd be like, let's fucking murder that guy. He's a fucking piece of shit.
I was looking at it this way too with, friends with exes or even people I'm with. Number one, I always think like I wouldn't want the person I'm in a relationship with now to be doing something that is going to pull out of that relationship. So if it's somebody from their past or my past, if they're going to put a wrench in the current thing, screw that. I'm going to keep away from it. But there's a certain level of trust too, that it's kind of like, you know what, I'm secure enough at where I'm at in our relationship that, yeah, she can have guys that she talks to and, whatever. But the minute they try to cross that line,
I tried to explain this to Hollywood years ago. I said, I'm only going to do the things that I'm comfortable with you doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. And isn't that just the golden rule kind of?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do I know others as you like to do?
But her take on it was, well, you're way more comfortable with doing things. And then I'm like, well, that's a whole different story. Like, so that was pretty funny. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So I don't have their clip to play, but essentially,
I have getting her own vitamin D there. It looks like this clip here. This woman flashes her gooch.
No, that's my word. Those are my words.
To the sun each morning.
So, she's an attractive looking girl. Let's just let me click on this so we can watch her.
Roll it.
I think they show her gooch doing the Gucci things. Okay, so we can't hear. Let's see.
And I just naturally always wake up whenever the sun rises, and I do my morning ritual, sunning my perineum.
Oh, that's her ass.
To place my perineum directly towards the sun because it's the divine masculine energy that activates it. Its warm, penetrative rays provide vitamin D. It's essential for my well-being. When the sun comes up in the morning, my body is very in tune with that, and I just naturally always wake up whenever the sun rises, and I do my morning ritual, sunning my perineum.
Okay. What do you think?
I like the way that, there's setups there with that little, key blanket or, little, bear rug or whatever you want to call it that she's laying on.
She's got a little bear rug and she's on a patio, a wooden patio. And the shot that I love the best is the one with her legs up and the sun coming. But how bad do you want to see what her pussy looks like?
I'm kind of curious now. But also I wonder, does anything actually fly in there? Is it what if the mosquito bites down there? It's what, an inch later? I mean,
my morning ritual of
headache calls some calls in there.
Having freaking ants
crawl
into my cooch.
Yep, my gooch.
But I thought that was great. She's a very attractive girl. I'd be all about that, right? She's a good looking chick.
I like the little setup she's got where it looks like she's living off
yeah, she's up in the woods.
A van.
What I love is it's
pulled into a dock.
She obviously has no neighbors. Because can you imagine being in a house that near her when you look outside? Look at Julia's out there doing her gooch sunning again.
And guy sights it in on his binoculars.
When you can't see, when a girl obviously is fine with spreading her legs to the sun with no undies on, how badly do you want to see that?
Well, how much does it really need to be aired out? Is that really the reason why she's been rammed, pretty hard the night before, and she needs to air that tuna smelling snatch out?
You're probably wondering exactly. How much comes out of her while this is going on, right? That's always a key. Oh, jeez.
What else she got? What other clips? I saw one there.
Wasn't I going to say? Which one did you say? Oh, man versus woman. Okay, this one could lead into quite a bit of a conversation. This is about married stuff. I think I almost want to do this with Hattrick when she's in.
All right.
Let's go with, a couple weeks ago, we did our Hottie of the Week, and it was Paige Sporanic. She was in the mix as the hot golf chick. Well, supposedly, we had a new hot golf chick. You ready for a new hot golf chick? Paige Sporanic rival. She has a rival.
Rivalry is a good thing, man.
I want to make sure our recording is still going.
The Masters are going on this weekend.
Okay, so here, this girl, Paige Sporanic, is the other one that we featured last week. This new girl, her name is, where the fuck is it? Why do they do this to me?
Is it down to the left? If you've been going down, go lower.
Go down. Oh, right there.
There.
Right.
No, that's Danica Patrick. She's been around.
Okay. Claire Hoggle. Claire Hoggle.
Oh, damn.
And this chick.
And we were just talking about going younger, and she looks younger. She looks all oiled up and she's glistening.
The thing is, again, guys, when we look at girls who look like this, it reminds us of when we were younger and we saw these hot chicks that are all over.
So whatever.
It's not our fault that young girls like this, like older guys. Come on, there's an entire Reddit of women, and it's called Age Gap.
Yeah. So this reminds me of somebody that even when I was younger, I could not even score with. That's what it reminds me of.
I've had bodies like this before.
So I've had one or two, but yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I
don't know what they were thinking at that time, but
dude, it's fun. I had lots of fun with the bodies that looked like this. And if their minds were as sharp and as healthy as the rest of their body was, because then it would have been game over. I probably would have settled down a lot settled down. But you can either have, I mean, let's be honest, most hot chicks are fucking crazy.
Yes. Remember, that's how they got that graph. The hot, crazy matrix. Yeah.
That's for sure. But this girl, go look her up, Claire Hoggle, CLAIRE and she is a golfer. She is,
I like to see you.
Girl as a hell.
Stunning her cooch.
Yeah. When do we get to a little, what do they call it? Perineum? What was it?
It was the perineum, which the perineum is the spot in between your asshole and the,
in your butt. It was the gooch. It's the gooch. Now, I gotta ask your opinion on something. What do you think about girls who wear hats? I love women who wear hats. I think they look so damn cute when a girl is wearing a hat like this. But this is a new sporty hot chick. Also, this leads me to believe we should probably consider sponsorship. We used to do a bowling team, a softball team, and at one point we were toying with the idea of having like a motocross team where we sponsored a guy who was in these, like, going down to Bridgeport, and they have the tracks, the motorcycle tracks, and doing the thing. Cause it'd be cool to have like the graphics and the logos on all the stuff and do this. We need to find a hot golfer chick who we can sponsor. You just got to wear our stuff and let us video you while you sun your perineum.
Yeah. There's a motocross. That's still a big deal between here and up north. And that, matter of fact, one of my friend's son, he competes in that. So.
All right. I just collected a few new headlines here, so these will be really rough and raw. Okay. This is one thing I wanted to start off with. Not to really get into more sports stuff. I think I'm realizing I need to have a sports specific show, I think, because I have and maybe just a baseball related show or a sports show where we can fire on some stuff. But here's the thing. This applies to how I felt about a lot of stuff over the years. I am getting sick of all of the City Connect stuff. Okay.
I was going to ask you, I'm glad you brought that up because I saw
jerseys it's the same teams redoing the City Connects. Now, the term City Connect for me is something that if you're going to say we're trying to connect with our city or City Connect, again, I know what they're thinking from a design perspective. Okay, what themes of our city can we incorporate into these things? Now, the way I look at it is I want my City Connect to connect with our jerseys that we've made so that they buy them.
Right.
And then they build this new kind of brand that's an offshoot of what we already have. So that we can sell more stuff, obviously. I know of course. We just want some more jerseys. Yeah, we get that. But when they only have these City Connect jerseys for like a 2-year stretch or something like that, I don't know. That makes it worse. And from a player's perspective, I think it would be a pain in the ass. What jerseys are we wearing out? And obviously they have a whole crew of people to make sure that they're all looking good and sharp and all this stuff. I don't know, man. I'm more of a classical, traditional, the Yankees wear the pinstripes kind of guy, and that's it. And they don't fuck around with the uniforms.
I didn't like especially the Tigers City Connect one. I did see there were 11 different teams. Pittsburgh was one.
Yeah.
This last week it was announced. And it's the same way with other sports are doing the same thing to sell more. And I agree with you. Watching the Tigers last night, they've got these new home orange jerseys, which
I selfishly like those just because of our connection with the Going Deep show and stuff. Like, well, but still, it's different. And have you noticed? I feel this is just me being very super. What do they call it? Superstitious. They went on that losing streak the second that they wore those new uniforms.
Well, and what I was going to say is that it reminds me back of the 70s. So there was a time when, that summer V-neck, which is instead of the button-up, I like that style. It's like the old, your favorite team, Oakland A's, man, with the green and, the yellow and everything else with it.
Now, but my take on this, and you see it on the screen, I think I love the fact that I always say this, and I always get accused of being this pig, you misogynist piece of shit, kid. But I think overall, what I've always said when it comes to this podcast, I'm saying it just as sober as I said it just as drunk. Guys can have guy things and girls can have girl things. And it's so evident when girl things start encroaching into the guys' things. Watching baseball now, you get a guy hits a single or hits a double and they get out to second base and they start doing their little dancing and they're pointing and doing all this dumb shit. Where did that originate from? Softball. Girls, softball with their cute little cheerleaders and all their little chanting from now you got and looking over and the bananas doing all this shit too.
Yeah.
As much as I'm bananas are entertainment. You're
Harlem Globetrotters.
Harlem Globetrotters baseball. But when you're a professional hitter and you do the thing you get paid to do, again, this goes back to I don't mind the end zone dancing. I liked that. That was fine because it was like serious. So that's the non-serious point. But when you're playing a baseball game and you get to when the ball is still live and in play. It's not in between. If a guy on base gets a double and the pitcher decides to turn his back to that guy at second base and start wandering, lollygagging with his head down back towards the mound, the guy on second base can just wander and just take third. He can go. Yeah. But instead, they're over there looking into the dugout and they're doing their fancy little fucking stupid ass dances and all this dumb shit. It's so fucking dumb. And the reason that they're doing it is because I can tell you how this goes. This is the equivalent of Kids Bop.
They want to make the highlight reel.
No, it's not even that.
Oh,
it's worse.
There's something more.
Everybody's like, how is he applying this to women and men? Girls softball has been doing that shit for fucking years.
You've been watching a lot of girls softball.
I do like watching girls softball.
Yeah.
When they're playing the game, not when they're doing their cute little cheers and all this other bullshit that girls do. So who dates the girls softball team? Probably the baseball guys.
Usually you would think.
You know, oh yeah, that's cool. You play baseball. You play
Yeah, that's how you did, yeah.
It's at one point, it was probably, because when I played high school baseball, if we did this shit, dude, we were getting fucking yelled at. Get out to second base, doing all sorts of fucking cool breakdancing and shit. That's not gonna fucking fly.
I want a video of you doing those gestures.
Come on, Vogue.
It's the safety dance going on in here in the studio.
It's voguing.
But
you think about, so the guys are dating the softball chicks, and at some point, the softball chicks like, why don't you guys do what we do? And we're in the thing, let's do it. You guys should chat or blah, blah, blah. Watching a college baseball game, is like hearing it just the guys are constantly it's a lot of chatter, and it's gotten down to the high school level. I've seen it, and that's the one thing to kind of rally the other players, the other team up and stuff like that. But damn well those girls softball players, that mentality crept into the guys. Like, oh yeah, they do that, we do that. Well, we're gonna do that, and we do that, and it just crept up the fucking levels. Well, yeah, of course. In high school, we did this when we got to the bases and played our little sawbone game and did our fucking.
That's why you watch like co-ed softball on that after high school and college, because people want to continue on playing the sport they love.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with the Tigers. They get it single now, and they're doing this thing with their face. Have you watched? They're doing this like.
I haven't seen that yet, or I guess paid attention.
They used to do the sawbone.
Okay.
They'd hit a double. They do sawbone. Now they're doing this thing across their face.
So even Max doesn't like
I think the women getting into the heads of the guys initially kicking that all into the thing. But now, how does this apply to the uniforms? All these women are in the front office. All these women are making the suggestions. Who loves to play dress up more than fucking women?
That would be
trannies or gay guys.
Yeah. No, I was trying to think of a celebrity here to go along with it, but damn, it escapes me.
I just think that can't guys just have their guy shit? We've already established the fact that we created our teams. We got our teams. We got our jerseys. We did it fine. If you want to make some new stuff, make some new t-shirts, do some stuff that's not on the field. We already got the on the field thing. You guys why are you creeping and changing the shit on the field? Make 1 million shirts, make 1 million different things, sell a bazillion shirts, make every week a new shirt.
We could do a little double in your favorite sports colors.
Yeah, but just, right. So I want to just hand some of these. The Giants, the new, they look like a softball team. The San Francisco Giants look like a softball team. The Padres, the former City Connect jerseys looked like they were clowns. They were just clowning. The new ones are better than the other ones, the ones they just came out with. But again, why are you keeping on coming on? Money.
Well, and it's different because when you look back at the Tampa Bay Rays, they were struggling to get an identity and everything like that. So they were the Devil Rays. And then you couldn't say devil. It's kind of like, bands like Confederate Railroad. It had nothing to do with.
Read what I put on there. I have my show notes. The Rays look like a gender reveal party.
Don't they have like two different sides of their uniform?
On the left side, it's like pink, and on the right side, it's like blue.
Oh, that's
fine. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind right now? Why? These are professional athletes. Why are you dressing them like clowns?
Well, and going to a game tomorrow, for the Tigers, it's kind of like, all right, I want to wear some team stuff. I want to wear, but it's going to be colder and everything else for it. But you've got on a baseball jersey right now. I have only one Tigers jersey, and it's a gray one, which is away, which I've gotten yelled at for wearing a away jersey to a home game.
I wear an Oakland A's. I would wear Oakland A's gear to a game when the A's are in town, and Paws, the mascot, would harass me.
Oh man. But I've gotten shit. But I mean, if you put me in white, I'm spilling coffee on it. I'm spilling mustard. Yeah, everything. It's like,
well, okay.
So orange is going to kind of work for me where I'm going with that.
I'm not against the merch. I'm not against the women being involved. What I'm against is making the players look like fools.
Yeah.
Down the field.
And not knowing what to wear that day because it's changed.
And me being a designer, okay, my last note on this, it just says design team. Let's fucking calm it down a little, okay? Just because this city has all these weird things that are making it unique to the city, they try to sneak in all these little things. It's like, okay, the new Atlanta Braves want to have on the sleeve, ATL, but it's in the typeface of TBS, which originated in Atlanta, which is who used to own the team, it's like, okay. We don't need a whole damn history lesson on the damn freaking
At least they're still the Braves.
Yeah.
No offense, Guardians, but you're still the Indians to me.
What's up with the Guardians? I don't get it. Let's see here. What else do we got? There's a couple things. Okay.
Who's this little video? This
This is the green girl?
green girl. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's always cute little hotties that pop through the feed. I don't think this chick says anything. I think this is just one of the girls I was going to add to the hottie of the week list. Let's check it out.
She's got those little duck lips going on.
Yeah, she's just I know what this is for. She's wearing the correct pant style. Okay. Notice how these are not mom jeans.
Yes, they're not.
Okay?
And those
This,
blue-
my friends, are the jeans. This is what is hot, not the other jeans. Correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anybody who looks at that and goes like, yeah, okay, what for you fat piece of shit who can't wear these?
I remember those boots she has on because my ex-girlfriend used to wear the same ones.
And my theory on this one, right?
Mm.
When we were in the body positive mode,
Yep.
where all the heavy girls were wearing the mom jeans, they somehow convinced all the skinny chicks who didn't have the fupas that the mom jeans were the thing. They're in style. No, it's not. That's for you, you fat piece of shit. It's these hot chicks that are not wearing these kind of jeans. Like, why are you wasting the only years you're going to be able to fit in these jeans?
Do you remember when there was just one kind of jeans? There wasn't women's jeans. They just were one, you man or woman, Levi's. That's what you're wearing, 501s. And you would buy them and you would get them wet and they would shrink down around you and that they were oversized.
If you want to check who we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. She's fucking smoke show.
She's very beautiful. And again, these are some baggier versions, but it's all about that from the button to the crotch. Okay. If it's like 3 inches.
Low rise.
Yeah.
They're low rise.
These are when you could almost like her belly. Look at how far her belly button.
Did you see her pussies in this picture?
Oh yeah, I did. It's black and white. And it's got whiskers. Yes. That's every bat. That's a fucking crazy pussy. But very attractive girl. Malin.Kate on the TikTok. Let's check her reaction.
What's the other hottie?
Let's see here. Oh, this. Okay, my friend.
You want to get arrested?
I remember this one, and this is probably a good one to wrap on because when hot chicks do gross things, you tend to just be like, oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, she's a cop.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like you're intrigued immediately. But wait until I play this clip because what she does, I can't tell whether or not I hate it or I'm impressed by it. All right.
Roll it.
Here we go. Make sure I got the audio turned up here for us to get it.
Oh, back to the old queefing. You know that's not real. Should be going in and wiping that. Dude, that on juice. That juicy part of the end. She just got done getting her ass fucked before this. That air was trapped inside. But sense of swerver at the end. Oh my goodness.
The part at the end, oh my God. It's like, okay, we got to stop that. I'm not gonna lie, when I first got into this clip, I watched it because I want to see her face. Like, did you notice her? She does not.
She got that look.
She's got that look, but she's got that look of concentration. Like, how much am I going to have to get out of here? Again, this is
right there. That face at the end.
This is an attractive girl. You know what I mean? So, like, let's say you're dating her and you caught her doing this. The fact that she's put this out onto the internet.
The fact that she's hot just gives her a get out of jail free card.
Exactly. When hot chicks do gross shit, you know, like, whatever. I mean, guys will gloss over the fact that women will do the most fucked up shit you can possibly imagine. Like, I'm sure Lorena Bobbitt found another boyfriend.
Oh, I'm sure
she literally straight up chopped the dude's dick off.
And, you know, and I'm sure that other boyfriend was like, it kind of turns me on.
Can you just not cut it all the way out? Maybe use your teeth on it a little or something. But yeah, hot chicks get away with murder, dude. Literally straight up. So do we want to talk? Let's give us a do we recap anything about the boat over the boat?
So, yeah, basically, the latest news is they're holding him, still arrested, not charged until Monday, in regards to the hooker drama saga. There's more coming out that, she was texting a friend about leaving, that evidently, there's been some reports of abuse by both sides, years ago, in regards to the family. There's been more questionable, things that have happened when they took him back to the boat. He was handcuffed. He fell overboard. They had to pull him back in, injured his knee, but they still have not found Lynette at all. I watched a Nancy Grace interview, and that woman...
Nancy Grace is still alive?
Nancy Grace is still doing this, and it was like a 40-minute deal that...
we have to make fun of her so bad.
And she's intense. She is fucking scarier than fuck. I would not want to date her, talk to her, hang out with her.
But she always had that weird way of describing things. She was like very much a Dr. Phil of tone, the way she would say things. And it was always... Here's today's white woman who had something wrong done to her.
Yeah, but play it back so I get, the idea and the way she, breaks things down. But yeah, there's just as much, especially if they don't find the body, unless he admits guilt in regards to this, or they find something that really, like video or something.
There's no way to really...
Like dinner of them at dinner, like an argument that it would have happened while they were at dinner before.
This little thing, it says, despite Brian's claims of throwing a flotation device, no trace of Lynette has been found. So he at least freely admits that he attempted to do that. But how can you prove that or not? No one...
Well, they found the flotation device afterwards on the beach. They did find that.
So, right.
So, and according to what he's saying is the waves were enough to push the boat because the engine wasn't running. It pushed him away from her while she either tried to swim towards him or towards the beach.
And it's a sad situation either way. It's crazy that you know this guy. You've actually shared beers with this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were union buddies. So and her as well. I mean, I've known both of them. We haven't talked to her in years, but when my dad passed away, he passed on condolences. We chatted back and forth a couple months ago. That's the recent conversation with him. So yeah, crazy.
You're not blowing up his text, FaceTiming on the shit?
No, but there's been a lot of chatter with other people, even yesterday and today, talking about it. So it's national news and probably will become a movie or some book eventually, I'm sure.
So what's our lessons for the day? So you're clear of the 4-bar horsemen here in town because you're going to get stabbed.
Play wiffle ball.
Yep. Also, get nostalgic to a point, but I think the one thing I was going to say, because we did touch on some younger datings and stuff, I would say that age-appropriate dating actually is your sweet spot. I know my friends tried to convince me of this years ago, but I'm a man and I like to...
Look, but don't touch.
Oh God, what? I've had enough touching with the young ones. I knew
the Rocky Horror Motion Picture Show music.
Here's the overall, my words of advice, which will probably should be put on my gravestone. Just jerk off and go to bed instead of fucking go crazy with dude. Okay, get post nut clarity as soon as you can.
There you go.
Whether that's you giving it to yourself, there's the lessons. You be post nut clear.
And don't forget to call that listener line once again. It is.
Let me bring up the thing for you here.
Yep.
All boards, bam, bam. And then I go bam, boom, boom. And then I go to bang, bang, boom, bing, boom. There.
It is 989-341-3314. If you got any questions for us, if you are thinking, you know what, I can do this better than us. Fuck you. No, give us a call.
You know what's funny about that? I've been getting emails for the past 2 months from someone who wants to improve the show or do the show. They obviously listen. They're like, you could get more user engagement with this and do this and do this. And we've had these people get a hold of us in the past where I've actually got on phone calls with them. They see an established show. They want to, somehow go like, well, look, they're doing all this stuff already. We can charge them some money to get this. It's always, and I always have to send them back an email. How will you solve the problem that we tell everyone to go fuck themselves, including any advertisers,
including ourselves,
we're not here to do something politically correct, or we're not going to dance through hoops to please an audience. We say whatever the fuck we want, anytime we want. We've done it since day one. Our goal is to sound as dumb and out of touch and amateur as we can, just like we were the first day. How can you solve that problem? Please give me that.
I'm more curious to see who the furthest away listener to call into the show.
Text somebody right now. They'll call from Australia. I got to text them.
Yeah. Ireland, Australia, China. It'll be that is to me is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right, everybody. I'm the kid for El Press.
Yeah, man.
And the rest of them.
Get out there, enjoy the nice weather that we're finally getting, and play ball.
It's baseball time. Oh yeah. Go play with your balls.
Yep.
See you soon. Chill to the next one.